We are live. A little delay. Not a big deal. Sometimes these things happen. I thought she was trying to dodge me. I thought we were gonna have to end this, but she didn't dodge. She came. She came to answer to a crazy tweet this morning. I thought it was insane. I loved it. It made my day. I said it made my day. So before we get to that, I want to ask you a quick question. Do you think if somebody watches this now, I've had a couple of people talk about this. It's going to be about me this time. Sorry. If you watch the show all the time, you're a listener, you listen to every show. Do you think a question asking what Mick's last name is really that difficult?
Oh, we're going to that? I think it's a pretty easy answer.
Right? Andy Mayo's like, I don't know. Didn't seem like it. You should have had some more questions, but I think if you can't answer that,
I
think it's over, right?
There are certain things that I forget. I'm not the best one. I don't have photographic memory like some of these Minifans. I don't make notes. I don't listen to shows more than once, usually. So I definitely miss certain things, but an ongoing, person in the world like that, that his name has been said over and over again. That's pretty hard to miss. So.
Okay. When's the last time you've been on a show? I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
What do you mean, on a network show?
Yeah.
That was a couple weeks ago. I was on like twice. I was on yours.
I don't remember that. But that was like a while ago. That was like over a month.
It wasn't even. It was like a month, not even a month ago. And I was on Mike and the Minifans. And
who can remember that? I don't know.
Well, I suppose. Listen. I could have been forgettable. It would have been fine. But yes, no, it was just 3 or 4 weeks ago.
That's true. You carried the episode, but you've promised that you're going to bring on the Minnow Lady show. We still haven't seen it, so it's just out, huh? What about something else? What about a different kind of show with anybody else? Any offers been thrown out there? Or Kevin from Bristol? That might be a good one. Did you go there today? I saw the picture. Drinking before the show.
Yeah, I was driving by. I figured I'd stop in. I saw his open sign. I swung in there and said hello.
How's it looking in there? Full? A lot of clothes? I got to go there and pick something up.
Yeah, no, it's packed full of stuff.
Packed. Yeah, good deals over there.
In there. He was selling stuff. I
just ducky.
Yeah.
You obviously had the same that same dirty shot glass that he gave you, or was it something different? Something new?
It's a disposable
that's right. It's plastic.
Plastic.
That's right. Disposable.
Give me a little bit. And I only had this much because, first of all, shots in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Against whatever narrative is out there for me is not something I do. I don't do shots usually. And that freaking stuff is whiskey, Portuguese whiskey.
So someone have been asking too, and I wonder, like a lot of the pictures you post, we only see you and the girls. You guys, you're always doing something. Is you don't bring your husband into any of these events, or
he doesn't want to.
No, I like. Oh, okay, nothing at all.
Not really.
So it's like the opposite of my old life, where the wife didn't want to be involved. He's that kind of.
Yeah, he's doing this. He's working a lot, and he doesn't really want to be involved. So
smart.
Yes,
he'd be a lot happier probably.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we know why we're here. It was a great day on Twitter for Mama K. She got nailed. She actually has a new account that's
it's
Mama
not
K's.
has nothing to do with me. Kane.
Oh, it's definitely SIG. It's SIG. I mean, the SIG. It's got SIG written all over it. But so the tweet obviously was David Assman, saying about her daughter that was praying before the Twin Towers before they fell, and then Mama K had to come in with hers, and she put. Can personally attest to this as well. I flew that morning, and for weeks I had intense premonitions of something terrible happening that day. Told everyone. Told everyone. I knew. Till this day, it's pretty. We'll get into that, but they ask. Till they ask how I knew. It's when I discovered that intuition wasn't just some theoretical thing. So. Now, listen, I wanted to bring you on because I'm a sucker for this stuff. I ain't going to lie to you. I mean, I did give a woman ashes to hopefully see my brother. So I can be bought, but I'm trying to figure out just going all the way back to when it first started, the whole story through. If you could kind of just bring us through it, because this is a crazy post. I know you post a lot of stuff on here.
I first want to address the post before I get to the story. First, the overreaction is absurd, but I definitely walked into it.
Okay.
And I should know better never to post anything serious in this freaking world. Because
We understand it is about 9/11, so I think that's more of what it kind of centers around, right?
right. So I was innocently scrolling over my coffee this morning. I happened to see a few different posts about people talking about their selves or someone in their life who had a premonition of something bad happening. It just happened to trigger something in my life that I remembered, which is I had a very similar experience. We're not alone. Google it. There's articles written about this all over the place. I wasn't trying to make it about me or anything. I was just sharing an experience. I didn't even think about it. I saw that story. I thought it was sweet. I was just relaying that I too also had a lot of weird feelings about that day, and I shared it. I should have known better that I am also in this KMS world, and I will get lambasted and made fun of and all that stuff. So I don't regret the post. I don't care. I'm not taking the post down. It's a true sentiment.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to give those. You don't want to give those vultures that. You know what I mean?
No, I would never do that anyway, Kane, because it's not. That's their problem. If they have a problem with the post, it's their problem. I had so much fun though today with 99% of the stuff that was going on. I thought it was hilarious. And
who was the best one? For me, it was the Court Minahan one. I thought that was.
Oh yeah, the one that was great, right? That was awesome. I don't know. There was a few. There was a couple of good ones. I laughed. I will say it was an exhausting day because my phone was blowing up. I was trying to get shit done, and every 2 seconds my watch is going off. I've had another notification. It was exhausting, but it was mostly freaking hilarious. So I was happy to play along with all the stuff, and 99% of it was very playful. There's a few of the freaking morons out there that, you know.
Well, let's air them out. Who are we talking about here?
No, I don't even know. You know who? I don't know. There was a bunch of them.
What are they saying?
For the most part, I would like to focus on the positive. Most of it was hilarious, and I thought it was very fun. It was a nice palate feed cleanser on a serious day. So I did walk into it. I should have known that posting anything kind of serious about something like that and about a personal experience was going to rile up all the crazies and get them in my Twitter feed. And I did. And it was,
I think it's the intense premonition. So why don't you walk us through it? I mean, you're just kind of beating around it. Like, give us.
I'm not beating around it. I said I would get to it. I just wanted to clarify why I posted that about this morning. It was very innocent, and you know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Just scroll on, people. But no shit. No. So to actually get into the story of it, it's something that when I booked, I was flying to Vegas. That was a trip that I had planned in the spring. My husband and I were headed out there. I remember I never had a fear of flying, never had any anxiety about flying. I've flown many times in my life since I was a kid. The minute I had the computer up booking that flight it was Tuesday, September 11th was the date I was going out there. I, for some reason, had a very ominous feeling about it. Don't know why, didn't think, I tried to push it off. I just was like, whatever. Booked my flight. We were very young and, didn't want to be spending a ton of money. I still wouldn't want to be spending a ton of money to fly to the West Coast or to Vegas. They didn't have the flights like they do today. It was like $600, $700 to fly a lot of these flights. So I even had the American airline itinerary out of Boston to LA on my flight to see if it would be cheaper than going Providence to Vegas. And it was so expensive, thank goodness, that I was like, nope, I can't afford that. And then ended up on a flight through Atlanta. For the next
so you weren't actually going to go on the actual flight. You were just flying that day. I just want to clarify.
Correct. But I actually looked at the itinerary for one of those American or United flights out of Boston. I had it pulled up to Vegas.
So as soon as you booked it, you felt ominous.
Well, the whole time.
Because you put intense premonitions. Isn't premonition more like you would kind of see what was going to happen?
No. It was so from that moment, I just had it was in the back of my mind for months. Like every time I thought about my trip, I just felt this like doom thing going on. And I didn't know why. And I didn't believe in that shit. And I really, until this happened, I never really gave it too much thought. I started to have it so often that I realized I thought I might be going crazy.
So this was over like a 2 week how long
No,
was
like
this?
months. I booked it
Months.
in like
You went.
April.
This was going on for months, and you were telling people about this.
No, I didn't start telling people to the end because I just would put it in the background. I would just put it in the back of my head. You're being stupid, relax, who cares, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So then around a month or so before it started to really, I just kept coming up. It kept hitting me in the back of my mind. So I said, I just got to tell people this, because God forbid something happens and no one knew that I was having this, or I say after the fact, I knew something was they're going to think I'm freaking making it up.
So who did you tell?
The first person I told was my best friend at the time. We were at Cello's in East Providence. I remember the moment. Somehow my trip came up and I said, this is going to sound crazy, but I am dreading this flight on September 11th for some reason. I do not know why. I've never been afraid to fly, but there's something about it that has me uneasy. And she thought I was crazy, or she was just like, really? Wow, that's weird. You sure? Maybe you shouldn't go. Maybe it's just like instinct. Maybe you shouldn't go. But she was like, she kind of blew it off. And I said, I'm probably being crazy. Whatever. Let it go. Told my husband. He kind of was the same way at first. He's like, well, I don't know. Maybe you're just having a fear of flying all of a sudden. I don't know. Didn't think much of it. Told my mother, who already has a fear of flying. She took me very seriously. She was like, well, you can't go. You can't go on this flight. Why would you go on this flight? Because she's already someone who doesn't fly. She has one flight in 80 years, I think. But again, I felt I was being unreasonable, even though I was telling people. I told people I worked with in the past. I just pretty much, the girlfriend I was meeting in Vegas called me the night before. She said, I'll see you tomorrow. We were doing the flights. What time are you going to get there? She's going to pick us up at the airport. I said, well, that's if I get there. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm going to get to Vegas. And she's like, why would you say that? I go, I have no idea. I just don't know. I go, but I've been feeling this for a while. I've been telling everybody I'm probably nuts, but whatever. So I went to bed. My mom was staying at the house. My daughter was very little. She was like a year old. I said, she sleeps in. And I said, well, she's like, well, good night. And, call me when you get there, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, if something happens, you'll know when you turn on the TV. And she's like, shut up, don't say that. So I just went to bed at 5 in the morning or so. When we got up, our flight was like at 7 something in the morning. I'm in the shower. My husband was taking the trash out. It was trash day that day. He wanted to get it out before we left for the airport. And he comes in and he goes, I really didn't give you any credence to your thing. He goes, but I just found a dead peregrine falcon in our yard, totally intact, no marks on it, nothing, just dead. And when you find dead birds like that in your yard, that is not a good sign. So
story's starting to go off the rails now. What are we doing here? What's the bird got to do with it?
Because he believes that you find a dead bird like that. He didn't believe me until that moment. So then we fly out of Providence.
Okay.
Beautiful day. We're trying to land in Atlanta, circling the airport forever. And they finally come on, because what we didn't know at the was that they were grounding all the flights.
Okay.
And I'm starting to get I was just wanting to get down and get up and get down again. I just didn't want to be in the plane anymore. And have
you ever felt like that with another plane in your life?
I've never had, and never have since either. I never have before and never have. I flew a week later. I flew home, but I got stuck in Atlanta. But fast forward the story. We get grounded. As soon as we land, someone's phone rings. Now, this was before smartphones, but it was just regular flip phone. Someone answered. His face went white. He was obviously being told by someone on the other end that plane had hit the World Trade Center. He hangs up the phone. He immediately tells the whole plane. He just turns and he says, a plane just hit the World Trade Center. And, it was before we knew it was terrorism or anything. No one knew if it was just like a prop plane or whatever. But I just was like, I fucking knew it, because what I was saying all this time was, there hasn't been a plane crash in a long time. Remember the Egyptian Air guy who just took the plane and crashed it into the ground for no reason? I don't know why I'm feeling this, but this is what I'm feeling. So when that happened, I was just like, you're kidding me. And then we ended up getting stuck in Atlanta for 3 days. I knew people who were on the planes. You know, a lot of these planes came out of Boston. Everybody knew someone. My brother lived in New York. We were worried about him. So there was a lot of shit going down, obviously, for everybody everywhere. And it was the most horrifying thing. But I remember my mom, when I finally got her on the phone in Atlanta, 7 hours later, because we had to wait for payphones, like, and call on our credit card, if you can imagine how much that cost. She's like, you knew that something, I can't believe it, you told us. And her and my best friend who lived down below, they couldn't believe it. They're like, she's been saying this for months or for weeks, and she's been feeling this for months. So that was my little story.
So but the reality is, like, it wasn't even the plane you were on. I mean, obviously you're still.
No, I didn't feel like I knew something, like planes were going to take down the 9/11 was going to be 9/11.
So how long have you been on Twitter now? Have you ever mentioned this before on 9/11 ever? It seems like a really big deal that somebody might mention more than once.
I have on Facebook. I posted a whole rundown about it about 6-7 years ago on Facebook about it. I don't know if I did on Twitter or not. Certainly not during the KMS era.
So you were going to Vegas to do what again? I'm sorry, I gotta get
visiting my friend who lived out there.
Did you have any issues with her? Was there something like maybe you were dreading seeing that person?
No,
something in that situation?
No. I had specific dread about the flights.
People asking in the chat for lottery numbers. You got any you can give us? Throw some out there.
If I could, I would have won it already, and I'd be gone. You wouldn't see me.
It's a very weird story.
It is a weird story, and I wouldn't have ever believed anything of it until it happened to me. But what was crazy about it, Kane, was when all the stories started coming out after, like all the different angles of 9/11, the heroes and the people, the red bandana guy and the Steve Buscemi at the fire station and all these like weird stories that were coming out. One of the stories that was covered extensively, I think it was in People or one of the magazines that used to come out, was people who had like weird feelings about that day, including people who died on the plane. And I remember, I would never forget, one of the stories I read was a guy who died, unfortunately, on the plane, who flew every single week, like 3 times a week. And he was all of a sudden very nervous about flying the next day. And his wife told the story to the press afterwards because he couldn't even fall asleep. He was walking on the beach at like 2 a.m. near their house just to cool his, like try to calm himself down. And he thought he was being crazy too. He was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I feel like this, blah, blah, blah. But he unfortunately got on the plane. And then I
think the problem with the stories though, is there's a lot of people that like to just, get their clout from their experiences. I mean, everybody knows exactly where they were when it happened. It's a big deal. Mama Kay's coming on here talking about eagles dying in her yard. Yeah, no, it's just.
Listen, people, yes, sure. I'm sure there's people who make up shit to get the clout. I mean, whatever. But
they just think they felt something that they may not have felt. It could have just been like a couple months long of indigestion or something, or maybe you just didn't want to see your friend over there because you had an issue with somebody over there. Or there's a lot of reasons you could be having dread. I just don't. When you say you had a premonition,
I don't care if you believe my story or not. But
I believe you believe. I really do. No, I really believe you do.
That's fine. I told many people about exactly what I was feeling. For this exact reason, was because if something happened and then I said it, they're going to think, oh yeah, she's full of shit. So that's why I told people ahead of time exactly what I was feeling. It's fine. I don't care. It wasn't meant as when I shared it, it was just a thing sharing with another person who had an experience. It is what it is. I
don't believe her experience either. I mean, she was there praying, and she just knew that the tower.
It's just one of thousands of stories, Kane. I
got it.
Unlike some of the minifans in this crazy world, I don't read into every blasted freaking thing. Like, I just was sharing it in the moment.
Do you have any other powers that we don't know about? Is there anything else?
Those are for me to know and you to find out, my friend.
So you have no other feelings of anything. This is just a one-time thing. It went on for a couple months, and it was the day that the towers got
I will
rock
say,
knocked
I will
down.
say, I've never had
It all
that
came together.
intense feeling of getting on a plane again. Because sure as shit, if I do, I won't be getting on a plane. So
And all these, I wouldn't say like all these people can verify because they all would definitely say yes anyway. But you said it's a topic today, 24 years later, or whatever it is now.
when it comes up, it's not like we
Yeah.
talk about it every day. It usually comes up around this time of year, where if I'm talking to somebody about it, and I even have my Facebook post from 5 years ago that I post. My mom chimed in and said something about it on there and was talking about how her and Rebecca, my friend Rebecca, were talking about it after it happened, that I had been telling them something weird was going to happen. So
Jameson says it's the worst show ever made on the network.
hey, Jameson, there's a little X in the corner of your screen. Just close it out, my friend.
Yeah, he's a big fan. I'm a big Jameson guy, but so okay, I guess that kind of clears it up. I mean, I don't think we've really gotten anywhere. You got the little Nostradamus in you, but I was hoping for more predictions, but you're not really a predictor. You're more of a feeler. You had a feeling.
Listen,
you told a few people. Nobody can verify it.
The fact that we're sitting here talking about it is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, people were liked it because it was the way you wrote it. It was very tense premonition, and when you say that, I feel like
it was intense. It wasn't like I was seeing planes crashing into.
It's too bad. It's too bad you didn't have that down. Huh? That would have been amazing.
I wasn't doing that shit. No, I was literally just had a feeling of doom over this flight. That's all I had. And.
All right. Well, we can ask anybody have any questions for Mama K. We can read from the chat. Any questions for Mama K in her story that it's not ringing true? But listen, I believe you believe. I don't know. I guess I can buy that. I'm somebody that would probably could believe it. I mean, it's just. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You're kind of, a me person, so it's kind of hard to know. I'm just kidding.
Give me an example.
No, you're not.
I mean,
you're a good fan.
Guilty as charged. If I tell a story about myself, guilty as fucking charged. But everybody in this, you're the fucking host of 50 shows on this network, and you're calling me a me.
I'm actually sick of it. Like, get the fuck. I gotta keep going on here, but. Anything else you want to get off your chest? Anything? Any assholes that reached out that were really dickish? There's a few of them, or anybody that really you thought what was your favorite tweet about you today? I know we got that new account. That was my second favorite.
I just don't know how I became this silly, divisive person in this world. I am a very nice person. I generally get along with everybody very well in my real life. For some reason, I don't know, maybe a wise man once said that some Minifans, men, do not know how to deal with women Minifans. They just can't, they don't know how to deal with the fact
to be honest, I'd say 70 to 80% of them are more sensitive than you are. So that's your big plus is you can take a punch, and you fight back. So you don't block people. So, you belong here. You belong here. So
I'm never going to start a fight. But I will sure as hell try to finish one. If you're going to come at me, I have no problem coming back at you. 99% of the time, I'm very playful about it. So, if you're playful, I'm playful. I'll have a good time. If you're just a dick, then you're just a dick. And, that's your problem, not my problem.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them for sure. But all right. If nobody has anything else, we're going to get her out of here because I got a fire to go light. Any questions for Mama K? This is the chance right now. If not, trying to see if there's anything in here. The chat is not great. We got the original drip in here. I believe Mama K. Wow.
Thanks, Justin.
That's big. Seen him around. He's supposed to be doing a bunch of shows. He just fucking hides, doesn't do anything. Fucking lazy bastard. Where are you? Come on the network.
He's not a me person.
That's true. I guess I could get classified that way. Freddie Lynn's here. He's got nothing good to say once again. Jameson, boring. What else we got here? Anything? Nothing. All right. That'll be it. Unless you have any other, yarns you want to spin for us. Any other stories like this? Nothing else like this. This is a unique, one-time experience. Nothing even close to this at all.
Not at this magnitude, no, ma'am. No, I knew.
What about anything on a lower magnitude?
The Patriots were going to draft Mac Jones back in the day. Does that count?
Okay. Well, that's the guess, This is different. All right. Thank you to
You're
Menners,
quite
the
welcome.
greatest CEO,
Thanks, man.
best to ever do it. Very talented guy. Thank you for letting us go live. To everybody that came on, thank you. Nobody's going to believe this story, but hey, there's Justin Duran. There's always a Justin Duran out there
Listen,
that just wants to
here's-
believe, and he only
here's the
doing it because he
thing.
thinks you're cute. I know that's the truth, Justin. Come on.
I do not care if anybody believes it. I do not care.
You seem like it. Anyway, have a good one, guys, and we're gonna get out of here. Thank
Good
you.
night,
Thank you for
fellas.
coming on, Mama Kay.
You're welcome.
Hopefully you get on that show.
Bye.